Behind these cold, crumbling walls, a dark past lingers. Eastern State Penitentiary, once a place of strict punishment and isolation, is now regarded as one of the most haunted prisons in the world. The spirits of the past seem unwilling to leave, their anguished cries still echoing through these abandoned halls. Tonight, we take you deep into the haunted corridors of Eastern State Penitentiary, exploring its chilling history, paranormal encounters, and the terrifying ghosts that still roam its cell blocks. Are you ready? When Eastern State Penitentiary opened in 1829, it was designed to be the future of prison reform, a place where inmates would experience total isolation, forced silence, and endless solitude in order to reflect on their crimes. But what was meant to be a system of rehabilitation became a nightmare of psychological torment. Each prisoner was placed in a solitary, windowless cell, only allowed 1 hour of exercise per day, alone, in a walled-in yard where they could see nothing but the sky. They were given no human contact, not even a glimpse of another inmate. If they misbehaved, the punishments were beyond brutal. Some of the most gruesome punishments included the water bath, where prisoners were doused in freezing water and left outside in the winter, forming layers of ice on their skin. The iron gag, a metal device that pierced the tongue if they spoke. And the mad chair, where inmates were bound so tightly their circulation was cut off, sometimes leading to amputation. Hundreds of prisoners went insane under these conditions. Some were never the same again. Others never left. By the early 1900s, Eastern State had become one of the most violent prisons in America. Despite its original goal of reform, riots, murders, and brutal punishments became the norm. Guards and inmates alike feared for their lives inside these walls. The inhumane suffering, isolation, and despair inside Eastern State Penitentiary created something far worse than a prison. It created a haunted tomb. Countless visitors, staff, and paranormal investigators have reported bone-chilling encounters with the spirits that remain trapped within these walls. One of the most haunted locations in the prison is Cellblock 12, where guards and visitors have heard tormented whispers, screams, and seen dark shadow figures darting between cells. Then there's Death Row, where inmates who had no chance of ever walking free spent their last days. The feeling of dread is overwhelming, with investigators capturing phantom footsteps and unexplained cold spots even on the hottest summer nights. Visual footage of a paranormal investigator speaking into a voice recorder, followed by a ghostly EVP response. Get out! But perhaps the most infamous spirit of Eastern State is that of Al Capone, the notorious gangster who was locked up in Cell 8. Even Capone, one of history's most ruthless criminals, claimed to be tormented by an unseen force while serving time here. He would wake up screaming in terror, claiming a ghostly figure named Jimmy was haunting him. Some believe this was the spirit of James Clark, one of the victims of the St. Valentine's Day massacre, whom Capone had ordered to be murdered. Visitors, staff, and investigators have reported some of the most chilling ghost encounters ever documented inside these walls. Here are 5 terrifying experiences that might make you think twice before stepping foot in Eastern State Penitentiary. One night, a former security guard was making his rounds when he heard footsteps behind him. He turned. No one was there. The sounds grew louder, rushing toward him. Then, the cell doors began slamming shut one by one, forcing him to flee in terror. Visual, a thermal camera catching a ghostly figure walking past a cell, only visible on infrared. An investigator placed a thermal camera in Cellblock 4, where screams have been reported. When reviewing the footage, they saw a mist-like figure pacing back and forth, before suddenly vanishing into the wall. One visitor took a photo of an empty hallway, only to later discover a pale, grinning face staring back at her from a cell. Eastern State Penitentiary remains one of the most haunted locations in America. Do the souls of its tortured inmates still roam these halls? Or is it simply the weight of history playing tricks on the mind? Subscribe for more terrifying stories. Would you dare step inside Eastern State? Let us know in the comments.